Okay, a quick ideation sketch with circle shapes, ball shapes, spheres. I'm just going to start with a few circles, and I'm going to draw an ellipse through the middle and an axis just to define my point of view on this. And I'm going to start by just cutting off a section at an angle, and let's just see what happens. And so I just put an ellipse there and define that edge a bit. And I'm going to put a little drop shadow straight away just to give it some volume, and maybe some contour lines through here. Let's see, I'll give it a little edge, and imagine this is a speaker. Then I can put another ellipse here in a bit deeper, try and get it in the middle, and then I can connect it through this way. This way, just to give it some shape. Okay, I'm just going to put a quick drop shadow here. To give it some more volume. Okay, there's a little idea. If you use a light grey, it's possible also to quickly get some more volume without getting into too much detail, because it's an ideation sketch. So just quickly make some suggestions of shadow. Could even have a darker here where the reflection of drop shadow comes into it. And this edge maybe also just to define that that's moving away from the light here. If you keep it a little sketchy, it's going to be okay that you make little stakes. You know, it's a sketch, so sometimes you just have to buff it a little bit. Okay, that's an idea. Let's see what else we can do. So I'll just start with another circle. It's a bit fat, but well, let's just keep going with it. I'm going to divide it through the middle this time. Maybe, let's see, I might just take another section off the bottom. Let's have a look. You know, this is really just investigating the shape. I want to know where the ground surface is, just so I can. I think I'm going to add some little stand here. So I'm just roughly estimating, but I know where the ground surface is there, so I can line up these shapes. So in the middle of each, across from that, and then out a bit. So straight down is there, and I'm going to just try and get the same angle. Straight down is here, and that one I'm not going to see. So let's just, I'll put some feet. Maybe they should attach underneath. Let's do that. Okay, and try and keep that round. It's a sort of a mushroom. Maybe I'm going to even cut the top of this one as well. Yeah, a bit more of a flat top. If I take this edge in this direction, I can keep using it in this direction. And again, if I want to deepen that, just draw a line through that edge. And maybe it's more curved this time, and we've got a little speaker in the middle here. If I wanted to put some buttons or something on here, I need to use contour lines to do that. So, so if there was a round button here, think about it as if it was an elliptical cylinder shape, and then I can estimate how round they would be. Obviously they get much flatter in this direction. Okay, if I want to draw a drop shadow for this, I'm going to draw it from this big ellipse shape here. That's the ground surface. The light's coming from that 3/4 angle, going that direction. To find where the ellipse is going to go, estimate a big elliptical shape here, and then all you have to do is connect feet into that shape. This will have to cover that as well. So again, put often it's handy just to drop shadow can just be handy to give your sketch contrast it needs to be seen, so it comes off the page. Try to allow it to be sketchy. It can, in some ways, the unfinished quality actually makes it possible to get away with little mistakes in your sketch. If you try to do everything perfectly, then little mistakes are going to be much more noticeable than if you have a few. If you have obviously more of a purpose, a sketch, not a rendering. Okay, I'll just again put a little bit of remembering this is kind of a sec part of a ball shape sphere, so the shading is going to correspond a little bit here. As an idea sketch, this is fine. If you see edges that completely disappear, you might want to darken them up a bit. What also can help is, of course, a little bit of colour to really let things pop. So, or more contrast. I'll just say this is nice dark blue. Hopefully, there's some ink in there. Darken these speaker sections. I'll give them some colour. Maybe these also better. Okay, when you want to finish up, you can, try to get your line thickness varied. So you've got different line weights. You want to have some variation in that. Usually, of course, the shadow side will be darker, but if you see, a line that completely disappears at the back, you can also darken that just so it becomes a bit more visible. Just look for points where you can push the contrast a little bit, but don't go over the top, because it's just a little bit of contrast is usually enough to get your sketch to jump off the page a bit. These are the legs. I'm also going to do a bit of shading here. Okay, and with your ideation, you just want to continue doing that. So you can even sketch through your own sketches to make different versions of things. Overlap is always a good way to create a more dynamic sketch as well. Let's see what happens if we... So, you know, your design ideas can just come out of your sketches, out of the process of sketching, of just playing around with form. And that's actually just, that's what you want. Thinking on paper. So you're not going to see much shadow here. Just put a little one.